Hey YouTube, long time since no video. Really for no particular reason. I wasn't really doing anything interesting. So this is a not quite unboxing video of a Viking helmet that I bought off of eBay. I know. Caveat emptor and all that stuff when you're buying from eBay. Um, it's not really for hardcore reenactment or anything like that. Definitely not combat worthy. It's only 18 gauge. But when I, and I was expecting to have to do some major work on it, given that it was an Indian fabricated helmet, based off of the seller's post, and also, here's my experience with non-custom made helmets. You definitely get what you pay for, and this was only 85 bucks with free shipping, which is really reasonable for a steel helmet. But my reasoning for doing the video was when I opened it, I was extremely impressed and pleased with what I got. So I wanted to kind of show you what I got and talk about it a bit. And then subsequent to this, I'll do a comparison video on another helmet that I got, which I'm very happy with, but is not another Indian fabricated helmet, different era, but is definitely not up to the same level of fit and finish that this one is. So, well, excuse me as I scratch my nose there. Anyways, so I'm going to switch views on this, and we'll go to the unboxing. Okay, so here's the box, and my soggy backyard from the great northwest of America. So, box came. It's pretty well packaged. I mean, it could have been a little bit better. The first thing you notice when you open the box, besides the fact that it has a historical buckle, not a Viking era buckle, but still, they went to the effort of putting something that's more than just a standard roller buckle. And one of the other reasons why I decided to go with this helmet is that it came with a leather liner installed, which is a plus. So we don't have smell elevation, so you can't smell it, but you can definitely smell the gun oil when you open that, which is really nice. These are coming over from India. The buyer was located in Georgia, America, Marietta. So I was kind of concerned, well, it's going to be rusty, I'm going to clean it. No, that's any big deal. I've been doing SCA for 20 years, so I know how to take care of armor and clean it up and all that. But I was definitely impressed when I opened it. First things first, I'm going to take it out. Oh, and it came with it also came with a mail drape, which was another plus. So, wrapped in a lot of bubble wrap, and also bagged up. I'm going to set the phone down a little bit right now so I can unwrap. Let's take a look at the liner. Standard veg tan leather, 2 layers, but look, it's machine sewn, but it's very well done. A little bit of schmutz in the back, but like I said, I paid 85 bucks for this, so I can't complain too much. The leather feels really nice. Looking at it, it's probably chrome tan, I would imagine. Something not veg tan. And there's some watermarks and discolorations and things like that, probably left over from when it shipped from the fabricator in India to the reseller in the U.S. So, see that take a look at the mail drape from this end. It's just butted mail. Like I said, this is pretty much going to be a cosplay light reenactment helmet. Here in the Seattle area, there's a pretty big Scandinavian population, and especially in the Seattle neighborhood of Ballard, which was founded by Scandinavian immigrants. In the summertime, they have what they call Viking Days at the Scandinavian Heritage Center there in Ballard. So reenactors show up in garb. So that's kind of what this is going towards, and I'm starting to collect non-SCA style helmets, since for SCA fighting, I'm probably going to stick with my standard 12 gauge spun dome stainless steel, because I have not found anything that for me has felt as comfortable and safe as that in 20 years of fighting. It is what it is. Maybe I have a sensitive head, I don't know. Anyways, so this is the inside. It's a standard style liner. You can see that where the leather thong passes through, it's got grommets. Some ventilation holes poked in there. Now, of course, We have no idea if this is historical. Like my wife said, it kind of looks more like the inside of a 1920s leather football helmet. But definitely we'll keep it resting in, it's adjustable, keep it resting in the right spot. Okay, so now let's flip it over. So here's the helmet flipped over from the front. So while this isn't an exact historical example, it's what they call a spectacle helmet, given the this face piece here. The only helmet from the Viking Age that we've ever found that's actually Viking, not Vendel, not Valsgard, not Anglo-Saxon, not Russian, not Polish. It's a place that I'm going to butcher the name, Yermabu, which it's Gjermubba, something like that. It's a single helm, and it's this style, where you have a band here, and plates, and then goggles. So the banded part, like this here, that's what's called a Spangenhelm, from the German it's kind of a German term, but any one of these helmets this way, you can see on the side there's a band that goes around. So inside the helmet, what you'll have is 4 or more triangular pieces, and then the bands here and here, which are all riveted, and that's what holds it together. These are earlier style helmets. The Romans used them. The Romans used also a single ridge, and this is due largely to the fact that making large plates of iron and steel was really, really difficult, given the Dark Age level, given the level of technology in Dark Ages, late Iron Age, early Middle Ages, whatever you want to call it, Viking period. This helmet is probably later, I would say. You got these flourishes on here, which are nice. These are reinforcements. Don't know if they're period. Don't recall seeing anything like that. I've seen some Frankish helmets that kind of look like that, and some Byzantine and Russian helmets that have had something similar on here. Or this might have been a poor man's way to make a fluted bowl. I've seen other helmets that are fluted bowl. I don't know, thought it was cool. Like I said, this isn't high fidelity reenactment level. So I haven't gotten my calipers out, but they said it was 18 gauge, but it certainly feels a heck of a lot thicker than 18 gauge. It might be 16, which would stand up to let me turn this way so you get a full length view, which would definitely stand up to the rigors of reenactment. And depending on the combat society, you could probably even do some reenactment combat with it. 16 gauge is definitely not up to SCA, even though it's considered bare minimum. And this isn't an SCA helmet since it doesn't have cheek guards or anything for your face. And it wouldn't be worthwhile to modify it. You're better off starting out from scratch, really. But once again, that wasn't the purpose for this helmet. Like I said, I was just really, really extremely pleased when I got it. The finish is really good. There, you can see, I'll put a focus on here. There are some minor nicks, but even in the spots where you have edges meeting, the edges are not sharp. They've been at least filed down a little bit. There's nothing where when I pick this helmet up, I'd feel like I don't want to put this on my head. It's sharp, it's dangerous. I'm going to cut myself just handling it. So like that. In comparison to the other helmet that I bought, which is a much later period helmet. So let me pick it up and put it on, and you can kind of see what it looks like on top of the head, and that way you can see the chainmail drape and all that kind of stuff. All right, here we go. Okay, so we're on. I don't know how well you'll be able to hear me. I'm really, really echoey inside here because the nasal is right down in front of my mouth and reflecting my voice back to me. So, anyways, there you go. So, if I had some criticisms of this helmet, which I have a couple, I'd say that it probably sits too high for a historical helmet. Definitely, probably too high for a Viking Age helmet. Pure Viking Age helmet. Definitely higher than the Yermabu helmet. Here's my eyebrow line. So the top of my head's probably right about there. And because it has no sides, and this could just be because I'm so used to wearing an SCA helmet, because it has no sides, it feels really, really top heavy. Like if you took a shot, it would crank your skull. Now, I do have a heavy coif, which is probably, we don't know what Vikings wore under their helmets. Probably something. Most people did. So I have a very thick coif, which is a later period style one. It's kind of an ahistorical generic SCA heavy coif that I can put on. And then the helmet feels much more firm because the mail's not flopping around, because the coif comes down to mid-neck level, right? So the mail's there. But, I buckled it, but you can see, if I got smacked, I'd be like, I probably want to do a little bit better strapping system than's on this one, because it's just the one right here. I'd probably want to go with something. But for day-to-day wear, for walking around at events, it's pretty good. It is pretty heavy, which is the other thing that makes me think it's more than 18 gauge, even though you got this butted mail on here, which is going to add considerable weight. But you can see that I got smacked in the face, turns down, smacks you in the nose. So now the interesting thing would be finding out. You can see my laundry hanging there. My laundry hangers. How did historical people deal with this? We don't know. With the other helmet that I have, that I picked up, and I'll show you in the next video, that one, it's right there. See? I don't got my glasses on, so I can't tell how unfocused that is. But you can see what it looks like. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not wearing garb at this point, any type of Viking clothing right now. But I think you could get away with you could probably get away with wearing just this along with some nice looking garb and a shield and a sax or a sword, and you could put on a nice looking Viking impression, better than a lot of places, I would think. So I'm gonna take the helmet off. We'll take a little bit closer look at the construction and stuff. So taking a closer look at the helmet, you can go up on here. There's a little bit of rust and schmutz here, but we have a nice coating of oil on here. In fact, it's all over my hands. So I'm not really worried about this getting too rusty, even in our wet climate here. So rings are butted, and rather than being attached to a band, which is probably historically how it would have been done, well, I don't know, honestly. I take that back. I think the valves guard, which are earlier than this, but you kind of have a continuity of technology. I think the valves guard helmets and the Vendel helmets, the Kameo, or the drape, went right on that, was right through the helmet. I'll have to check. In the comments below, if you know, feel free to correct me. And then, butted, probably 16 gauge wire. Pretty heavy. Wouldn't be this heavy historically. Would have been riveted so you could get away with a thinner gauge wire. Would have been iron, not steel. Same thing with the helmet. This helmet's standard mild steel. This has been armor. Yeah, I forgot to bring my calipers home from work. But I really do want to hit this with the calipers and the micrometer, just to see, because it really looks thicker than El Cheapo 18 gauge. So, like I said, you got some blemishes. You can see where people messed up. But something that a lot of us forget in our precision machine age era. That's not really working. So we're gonna flip it. Put it here. In our era of machined precision, that yes, craftspeople before the industrial revolution, industrial era, could make stuff highly to high tolerances that looked really good, and was largely symmetrical, but it would have been symmetrical to the eye, because realistically they were working by eye. But anyway, you can see here we got some fluting, which gives us some added rigidity. Running my fingers along the inside here, I don't feel any burrs My sharp edges have been rounded off. Even here, back where the goggle, where the spectacle goes into the bar, into the bottom brow band, that's been rounded off. Of course, under the liner, I have no idea what it looks like. It could look like a complete, it could look like a complete dog's breakfast under there, which is another historical thing that would happen. They definitely only worked on what you could see, or what was needed to get done to be effective, even on high quality stuff. But anyways, so this was from the seller's name. Let me see here. What the crap? So yeah, so this is like I said, I got this off of eBay. The seller was Everyday Savings from, and according to their site, they were from Marietta, Georgia. So, $85 free shipping off of eBay. The website still has a couple on there. Has some other helmets on there that I'm looking at them. I'm less happy with based off of the pictures that are shown. The metal even looks thin and sketchy on the picture. Had some other stuff, some belts. Really, this is probably about the only thing in here that I would be like, dude, if you see it, buy it, kind of stuff. Anyways, thanks for your time. Feel free to comment below, both with positive and negative eBay and other online sales stories on getting Viking stuff.